Hello, friends. Welcome to mid-October readings for Aries. This is the basic reading where we'll do a normal pull like I normally do here on YouTube with the Rider-Waite deck and an Oracle deck, and then we'll do an extended over on Patreon. So if you're at all interested in that sort of thing. If you just want to take this one, that's totally cool too. Either way, I appreciate you being here. There we go. Starting strong with the Ace of Cups. And we got 4 more coming out. Or, I'm sorry, 3 more. 1 fell on the ground. So, let me grab that. I'll be right back. Like I said, it starts out with the Ace of Cups. It's like your cup runneth over. But specifically, it's like your emotions or... and that'll come into play again, just being overly emotional. But so that could be really strong for you. But Ace of Cups can also mean just an abundance of creativity right now. So you might be sitting in a space where you have a lot of different ideas and you're just ready to create, right? But then we have the 4 of Cups with the Empress in reverse. And finally, we have the Queen of Swords and Justice both in reverse. And I know I said there were 3, that 1 had fallen on the floor, but I was right in my initially what I thought was a misspeaking. There's actually 4. So 5 total. It's a lot. I see you in a little bit darker of a space right now. We kind of already talked about this Ace of Cups, and I feel like that is just something at the core of you, and that's something that will kind of help to keep you afloat through the rest of this. So your creativity is literally calling to you right now, and you might be ignoring it for one reason or another, but this card is out, I feel like, to encourage you to dive into it. Know that it is a source of healing and expression and release, and you can physically create things that you can then either give away or display in your house to make you feel better, or you can even look into selling. A lot of different ways that the process is good for you, but also the end product can be equally as valuable, right? Or just valuable in a different way. So moving on, we have the 4 of Cups and the Empress in reverse. So this 4 of Cups, it's like a contemplation. He's sitting up against a tree. He's thinking really deeply. I don't feel like there's a sense of planning or anything like that. It's just thinking about, I'm hearing like the current situation. So that's not going to be true for everyone, but for some of you, your current situation is maybe weighing heavily on you. The Empress in reverse can signify that you might be depending on others more than you normally do. And I mean, I understand there's that in itself can feel very heavy and very uncomfortable when you're used to taking care of yourself, and in general in our society, it's not a comfortable thing to rely on others. So I understand the feeling in this contemplation where you might be just down in general. And the other part of this card that I always like to point out is that there's opportunity there. Sometimes it comes out of thin air, literally, and it's something that you weren't expecting. But regardless of where it comes from, we always have opportunities around us. And again, it's pointing me back towards your Ace of Cups here, your creative outlets. That came out weird. But your creative outlets. this cup that's coming through here is this Ace of Cups. It's meant for you. It's an opportunity right there, but you have to shift your perspective. You need to come out of that contemplation phase in order to see it. But at the same time, you're in that contemplation phase for a reason. So while you're in it, allow yourself to feel fully what's going on there and think through the things that you need to think through. But don't dwell there either. Sometimes it can be helpful to give ourselves a timeline. I have the next 2 days to think this stuff through. And then it's time to pivot. It's time for a little perspective shift, right? So that might be helpful for you. Or if you're the kind of person that just, you're letting it take its natural course, that's okay too. Sometimes that's what we need to do. But between your contemplations, try to sprinkle in creative activities that will allow you to explore your own outlets. You know what creative outlets feel good to you. And if you don't, or if you just need to shake things up a bit, try random stuff. I just got into knitting. Who'd have thought? All kinds of different new things. Start looking for craft stuff on YouTube, and I guarantee you there's like a bajillion different ideas. So you'll find something that feels good. And that's really what this creative part is about. Just looking for ways to feel good. Finally, with this Queen of Swords and Justice in reverse, this is where we come back to being overly emotional. If we're in our feminine, sometimes people call that like bitchy. But either way, the way that I see it, it's like your emotions haven't had anywhere to go for a while, and so they've built up. And at some point, there's that pressure that you're pushing against to try and hold it in, and it's gonna come out. So you can either take the lid off slowly and let it come out in a more comfortable way. Even though it will be uncomfortable, it'll be more comfortable than if you reach that point where the pressure is too much and it just explodes. So be mindful of that. Just know that that's something that's going on with you. And again, come back to that creative piece. As far as this justice piece, part of why you're feeling so emotional, maybe you're kind of in this woe is me. And, sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes it's that life's not fair, or, something happened where it's like, I didn't deserve that. And, what did I do that made that happen? Well, yeah, sometimes it's nothing. But life's not fair. And sometimes that's just how it is. It sucks. But life is not always going to be fair. So if that's what you're facing, again, yeah, allow yourself to feel it. But the bitchiness part of it is like the caution of not letting it spill off onto people that didn't cause it. So yeah, you might feel totally slighted and like there's just this imbalance at play where maybe it happened to you. Maybe it's that someone else was feeling a kind of way and took it out on you. And yeah, you didn't deserve that, but don't then take it out on someone else. Sometimes when we're feeling overly emotional, we come home and we take it out on our spouse, we take it out on our kids, we take it out on our friends, or we go to work and we're just in this mood where, don't talk to me, or you end up being just vile towards your coworkers. That's what we don't want to happen. So again, it all comes back to this Ace of Cups. How can you explore your creativity to allow your emotions to be thoroughly felt and then understood and expressed and released? Okay. Let's go ahead and pull an advice card here, because at this point I feel like we're kind of going in circles. There's a pretty good understanding of the basic situation here. Okay. Oh, there it is. And of course it fell on the floor, so let me go ahead and grab that. One day I'll have a better setup, but today's not that day. Okay. We got I got your back. So this card in particular, it does speak more to like the divine side. So whether you are a religious person or a spiritual person or whatever kind of beliefs you hold, it comes back to this idea that the divine has you. And you know, if your fear in allowing yourself to explore your emotions is that there will be collateral damage, or there's, you know, maybe some feelings hurt or whatever, sometimes that is the case, and we definitely don't want to do that intentionally, but we can't allow that to keep us from having those expressions and having those feelings, because we're going to have those feelings anyways. So denying them only allows us to self-destruct, and we can't do that to ourselves. So coming back to this card and its spiritual or divine base, it's saying that, you know, whether it's God or the universe, it's got your back. No matter what happens, God will forgive you. The universe will find balance again, and everything will be okay. So however that looks to you and your beliefs, I want you to dive into that belief. And again, don't use it as an excuse to be intentionally mean, but do allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and go through it and release it. If you need to tell someone that they hurt you by, you know, blah, 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 doing such and such, or however, yeah, it might hurt their feelings, but tell them anyways. That's important. And then everything will work out in the long run. And if your spiritual beliefs aren't really that ethereal and don't really go beyond this physical plane, this can simply mean that the people who are around you, how do I want to say it? Those who are meant for you will be there for you. So yeah, if you're telling someone that you were hurt, or you put something out into the world that is creative. I watched a movie recently about a woman who wrote her own story. I mean, her story that she had lived. And she had hesitated for so long putting the exact truth out because it would be hurtful to some people she did care about, and some people who, it was just a complicated thing, but she didn't want to hurt anyone. So she kept it in, and she self-imploded essentially until she couldn't keep it in anymore, and she had the opportunity and someone to call her out to really dive into the whole truth and put it all out there. So sometimes we need that extra encouragement, and we also need to know that at the end of the day, those who are meant for us will still be there. They will have your back. So tell your story, get through what you need to get through, talk about the things that you need to talk about. Those people have your back. The divine has your back. It will be okay. All right? I hope there were some nuggets of help in there. If I don't see you over on Patreon, thank you so much for being here. if I do see you on Patreon, I'm really looking forward to diving into the extended here. So I'll see you over there in a minute. Yeah, love ya. Bye.